Hello from West Coast University's Occupational Therapy program, and welcome to this brief video training. Thank you for agreeing to be a community site mentor for our OTD program at West Coast University. In order to better prepare you for this role, we've prepared this video with helpful insight and information. By the end of this training, we hope you are familiar with the purpose and expectations of the Doctorate Capstone Project and Doctoral Experiential Internship, also known as DEI. We also hope that you're able to articulate the role of the community site mentor and how it differentiates from the role of the faculty mentor and capstone coordinator, as well as understand the timeline for student capstone-related activities and your involvement in these activities. In addition, we hope that you're able to describe the evaluation process and ultimately that you'll feel prepared to serve as a mentor to ensure an OTD student's success with their capstone project and DEI. I'll start by sharing about the mission for West Coast University's OTD program. West Coast University's OTD program is based on the belief that all humans are occupational beings in nature and in the healing power of occupation, whereby humans can influence their own health status. Occupational engagement, and thus occupation-based interventions, are therefore a central theme in our curriculum. Our mission is to provide doctoral level education to develop caring and competent occupational therapy practitioners through the integration of theory, research, and practice. These scholars of practice will be lifelong learners and can develop into advocates and leaders for the occupational therapy profession in diverse local and global communities. By completion of the program, our doctorate students will be able to develop and implement client-centered care that is inclusive of cultural values, beliefs, and needs, demonstrate effective communication skills and function effectively as a member of an interprofessional healthcare team, apply critical analysis of evidence during the occupational therapy process, and participate to increase the body of knowledge of the profession through preparation and dissemination of scholarship. Design and implement interventions with a central focus on occupation as the means and end of the therapeutic process in line with our profession's philosophy. Integrate health promotion and wellness and interventions with individuals, communities, and populations. And lastly, model leadership and advocacy for occupational therapy in the full range of service areas. A major component of the Occupational Therapy Doctorate program is completion of the Capstone Project and Doctoral Experiential Internship, or DEI. The capstone is the culminating project for the student to synthesize advanced OT knowledge, enact reflective practice skills, demonstrate scholarship, and grow professionally in a focused area of interest. The project will focus a doctoral student's skills on seeing a large project through the phases of initial research and planning and development, implementation, and evaluation. The DEI is completed at your site and serves as the context for the student's completion of their capstone project. Our accrediting body, the Accreditation Council for Occupational Therapy Education, has stated that doctorate students can complete their capstone project in one or more of the following areas: clinical practice skills, program and policy development, research, leadership, advocacy, administration, education, and theory development. While we ask our students to choose a primary focus area appropriate for their project, it is likely that the project will include components from several of these different focus areas. At the completion of the capstone project and DEI, the student is expected to produce several deliverables, including a scholarly manuscript, a professional poster presentation, and any site-specific deliverables that are relevant to your site. For example, if you are mentoring an OTD student that's focusing their capstone project on the development of a fine motor program at your pediatric clinic, the site-specific deliverables could include the curriculum for the program, a volunteer training manual, and family educational materials. ACOTE has stated that the doctoral experiential internship must be a minimum of 16 weeks, full-time, which equates to 640 hours. Of the 640 hours, ACOTE states that 80% must be spent directly on site. This ends up being 512 hours, which averages to 32 hours per week across the 16 weeks. You, as the community site mentor, will set up an appropriate schedule for your student. that meets the needs of your site as well as the project. Every 2 weeks, the student must complete an hours and supervision log, which must be signed by you, the community mentor, and submitted to their faculty mentor. The remaining hours can be spent off-site, working on learning activities such as ongoing literature review, project preparation, and manuscript writing. Next, I'd like to outline the stages students progress through for their capstone, beginning in their 3rd trimester. In this trimester, students take Intro to Doctoral Studies, in which they begin exploring the various capstone focus areas and conceptualizing a project idea that they're excited about. During the 4th trimester, students continue to meet with the capstone coordinator to further develop their project idea, as well as to explore sites for their internship, with the goal of securing their placement at a site by the end of the trimester. In trimesters 5 and 6, students complete their Level 2 fieldwork rotations, and upon successful completion of these rotations, students are considered to have entry-level competence in occupational therapy practice. During trimesters 6 and 7, students will take 2 preparation for capstone courses in which they conduct a needs assessment with your site, complete a literature review, and complete an oral defense of their project. It is also during these classes that the student will collaborate with you as their community site mentor to draft their learning objectives and learning activities, which will serve as a guide to structure their time during the internship. The 16-week DEI is completed across trimesters 7 and 8, and students finish their time in our OTD program by taking one last capstone course in which they complete a final oral defense, submit their final manuscript, and present a professional poster. Each student is mentored by a Capstone Project Advisory Committee, or CPAC. This committee consists of the capstone coordinator, a faculty mentor with expertise related to the student's capstone project, and of course you, the community site mentor. Using your expertise as the community site mentor, you will assist the student in completing a needs assessment at your site prior to the initiation of their DEI to help plan the specific details of their capstone project. You'll also provide feedback on and assess student progress towards established learning objectives and guide the student in the development, implementation, and evaluation of their capstone project. You're also expected to meet regularly with the student during their DEI to ensure that their project stays on track and provide access to your site and any necessary supervision or training they may need. In addition, as mentioned before, the students must complete a hours and supervision log, so we ask that you help to maintain that documentation systems to ensure that their learning activities are being completed. You will also evaluate the student at midterm and final, and participate in the student's project proposal and final oral defense. Just a few more tips on the role of the community site mentor. First, be helpful. We're so appreciative that you've committed to supporting one of our doctorate students in the completion of their capstone project. While the student obviously knows a little bit about your site at this point, they will need your help to become better acquainted with the site, including conducting their needs assessment, completing any orientation requirements, becoming familiar with the facility and any policies and procedures, and of course meeting with staff and clients. Help familiarize the student with your facility, documentation system, scheduling system, emergency procedures, calendar of events, etc. In addition, the student will need your expertise and help to transform their project from a more broad initial idea to a more focused and feasible project. Second, be proactive. Students are most likely to be successful if their community site mentor is providing consistent mentorship. While we expect doctoral level students to be largely self-directed and certainly proactive on their end as well, please be aware that scheduling regular check-in meetings with your student will also enhance their learning experience and ensure that the learning objectives are being met and the project is staying on track. Third, be demanding. Mentors should be reasonable but also demanding and insist that their student produce high-quality deliverables that meet the academic rigor expected of a doctorate student as well as the needs of your site. Hopefully all expectations will be clear and everyone will be on the same page based on the memorandum of understanding that is developed that includes the student's learning objectives. Next, be collaborative. Work closely with students at every phase of their project and model what it looks like to be truly collaborative. Developing the learning objectives is the first true opportunity to collaborate with your student and to ensure that the student's learning brings value to your site. Lastly, be supportive. The capstone project and DEI is a long process. The student will likely need some ongoing encouragement, positive and constructive feedback to help them grow and be successful with completion of their project. The capstone coordinator's responsibilities include guiding students to explore potential areas of interest for their capstone project and DEI, as well as securing placements for their DEI, providing guidance in critical and reflective thinking as well as problem solving, ensuring all documentation is complete and deadlines are met, and advising on writing a scholarly manuscript and creating a professional presentation. The faculty mentor's responsibilities include collaborating with the capstone coordinator and you, the community site mentor, on the student's learning objectives, regularly meeting with the OTD student to provide advisement related to content areas, scholarly manuscript preparation, and professional presentation creation. The faculty mentor may do visits to your site periodically as necessary and appropriate, and evaluate the student's final manuscript and professional poster presentation. With that said, know that you as the community site mentor are not solely responsible for the student's success. You are working closely with the faculty mentor and the capstone coordinator to support the student. Next, we'll discuss how the student will be evaluated. As a community site mentor, again, you're responsible for completing the midterm and final evaluation forms. The key aspects that the students are being assessed on are West Coast University Capstone DEI learning objectives, and of course, the student-developed learning objectives. The West Coast University DEI learning objectives closely reflect our program learning outcomes. We ask that students choose 3 of the following that relate to their project in order to be assessed on during midterm and final evaluation. First, develop and implement client-centered care that is inclusive of cultural values, beliefs, and needs. Second, demonstrate effective communication skills and function effectively as a member of the DEI site interprofessional team. Third, apply critical analysis of evidence during the DEI to make informed decisions and participate in increasing the body of knowledge of the profession through preparation and dissemination of scholarship. Fourth, integrate health promotion and wellness and interventions with individuals, communities, and/or populations. And lastly, model leadership and advocacy for OT at the DEI site. Again, prior to the initiation of the DEI, the student chooses at least 3 of these that are relevant to their project and which they will be assessed on. In addition, the student will develop their own learning objectives prior to the initiation of the DEI in collaboration with you, their community site mentor, and their faculty mentor. Here, I provided an example of student-developed learning objectives. This student is completing their DEI with a school district. You can see that their first learning objective states that by the end of the DEI, they will demonstrate advanced knowledge of the development, remediation, and compensation of handwriting and typing skills. In the second column, you'll see various learning activities that will help the student to meet that learning objective, as well as identified evidence of achievement of that goal. What to expect next? Moving forward, the student will periodically be reaching out to you to build their mentoring relationship, and they will need to schedule a time to conduct their needs assessment with your site. This will take place roughly the beginning of August. The student will also be seeking feedback and collaboration on their learning objectives and learning activities around September, and the student will schedule a time with their CPAC, which includes you, to complete their oral defense in October. That wraps up this brief training. Thank you again for being willing to support our doctorate student in the completion of their capstone project and DEI. Please contact me, the capstone coordinator, with any questions or concerns at the email or phone number provided below. Thank you.